Hello everyone, Krydex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. This is not the normal screen that you see, because we've got some updates for Pi, and I want to look through them together, as we sometimes do, just to, no changelog for this? They might have screwed up the changelog file. Does that mean I can't view it on the mod page either? No, I can't view it on the mod page. Okay, so we're updating from 25. So the changes, let's see, moved neutron absorber, added plutonium shuffling, RTG produces more power, microwave, RTG, plutonium, okay, it's all, there's 4 patches in a row. Fixed plutonium shuffle recipe. Fixed plutonium shuffle recipe really this time. Fixed plutonium shuffle recipe really this time. Fixed plutonium shuffle recipe really this time. Dash, not melon. There were 4 patches in a row on the same thing. Okay, so we can update that. Coal processing. We're since version 37, so added warning about Factoriopedia. Update milestones preset to use aliases for turd creatures. Okay, that's all fine. No changes for us there. Made compressor quieter. I made that happen! Yay! That feels good. Changelog for industry. Just 17. Fixed circuit connection for Pi gas vent. Updated German translation. Petroleum handling. What does this mean? Aromatic plastic recipe now fixed with medium Pi. I assume that's a, by medium Pi, I assume they're talking about a subset of Pi mods that is not full Pi mods. I think that's what they mean by medium Pi. Pi medium, oil refining, support for using recipe icons and composite icons, support lighted poles plus, I assume that means lighted, compat with plutonium energy, and raw ores. Made coal hidden, remove productivity from easiest drill head recipe. And that's it. Oh, they didn't even show version 20. Just totally skipped. Alright, I don't think there's any base breaking changes here, so we should be good to go. And yeah, in this episode we're going to be finishing up the bitumen build, because as you know, it lives, but it still required some TLC, and I want to make sure all the buildings are running and we didn't have any issues where like half of the buildings are connected but the other half aren't, because I've been known to do that before. But yeah, I think we're going to be pretty happy with the results of this thing. It's spitting out an absurd amount of syngas and heavy oil, and then I think we want to work on maybe titanium tetrachloride next, because then that will allow us to do stripped distillates, which is good for all sorts of things. And I guess the question is, will I want to make stripped distillates on site? And then just ship those out. Because I'm pretty sure medium distillates don't do anything else. But we're gonna probably do crude oil cracking at some point, somewhere. And so I'm not really sure if we want to, black screen. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to think about that. I'm gonna pause and get some more coffee, and we'll be back. All right. We're back, and this thing is beautiful, and I love it. And it's now my favorite thing. And these are not so loud, yay! Anyway, low distillates, we decided we don't really care about these two. If there's some day where we need more coal gas, this could be another way to get it. But coal gas is only really used for syngas. I guess later we need it for cadaveric arum. Which is unlocked in Pi 2. So at that stage, we'll have to decide how I want to make coal gas. I might end up doing low distillates to coal gas as well. But for now, we're looking at the other distillates. So for medium distillates, you can upgrade it to high distillates. But that's gotta be like a really, really, really I'm panicked situation, because high distillates you can make naphtha with, which is useful if you just want to, at least for bitumen cracking, make the naphtha that you need to run the situation, right? Because the whole thing in the first place needed some amount of naphtha. And it only makes 25 high distillates. So we could upgrade those mediums to highs, and then we'd have 100 high distillates to make some naphtha with. But 300 bitumen needs, I don't know, about 80 naphtha. Roughly 85. And I don't think we'd even get that much naphtha back, even if we did all high distillates. Yeah, it wouldn't quite be that much. And then a fourth of the high distillates become condensed distillates, and half of condensed distillates becomes petroleum gas. So that means an eighth of your high distillates can become petroleum gas. That is a terrible amount there. And I mean, you get a tiny bit of gasoline back as well. A fourth of your condensed distillates. So 200 high distillates would get you 12.5 gasoline back. Is that right? A fourth of condensed. Yeah. To be fair, that does pay for a decent chunk of this gasoline, though. So it's probably worth doing that just to get a lower gasoline cost on your high distillates to naphtha recipe. But in this case, I'm just like, do we even care? I don't think so. So anyway, back to the medium distillates. Medium distillates, those are the only two uses for it in the entire game. So we definitely just want to make strip distillates on site, I think. Or we could just ship all medium distillates to the same spot. And then strip distillates, we said we want kind of 3 things for it. So yeah, we should probably process those in a separate spot. Because we want cumene, gasoline, and methanol from that. And titanium tetrachloride is just titanium, coal dust, and chlorine. And we already want chlorine because we know that we want to make the bleach, or whatever it's called. That's on my to-do list. Chlorinated water for the moss turd, because that's the moss turd that we want to take. I don't even remember what that moss turd does. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked at turds in forever. Moss. So this one, we add in chlorinated water and it just gives me more output and faster. Yeah. It's also worth noting, so that adds 4. So chlorinated water is actually better used in the stone recipe, because you can see there that like it takes you from 16 moss to 23 moss, which is 7 moss from 1 chlorinated water, whereas this was only 4 moss. And this one I assume is even better. Yeah, that's 10 moss for 1 chlorinated water. So you end up with a better effect on that. And now that we have plastic really cheap, this is a really easy recipe from just some chlorine. I do think the coarse fraction one could be good, but we're getting closer and closer to not needing that. And what was this one? Oh. You just remove the muddy sludge requirement. That doesn't quite feel very good. I don't know. And then what was this one? This adds a way to turn ref nat gas into regular nat gas. Now that one's more interesting now that I understand more about that, because natural gas can be turned into syngas, and that's a way for your condensates, which turn into ref nat gas, to be recycled back into regular nat gas, which is used in barrels for arcads and can be turned into syngas. So that one's actually interesting, thinking about that. And then what's the other recipe? It lets you use moss and refined syngas to go to regular syngas. Also interesting. Huh. Yeah, those are interesting recipes, actually. I don't know if I'm gonna use them, but okay. Anyway, are all of these running? Coal or coke is definitely backed up. Medium distillates. We got steam doing its thing. All those buildings are good. These buildings are all good. We have infinite syngas, basically. I might even need a second provider, because I don't know if 2 trains at a time is going to be enough of a rate for syngas. But yeah, coming of Bitumen, our Lord and Savior, is checked off the list. That feels so good. I'm very happy about that. Like, I'm really, really, really happy. I cannot stress how much I love this build. This has been, I think, my favorite build so far of the game. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just think it's so cool. And I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out looking. It's pretty clean. So, I'm a really big fan of this. And now we have a lot of things that are basically cheap. You know, we have even more condensates. Aromatics and benzene are basically free now. Like, what can we build with aromatics? I say the word build. More like, what can we craft is what I'm kind of trying to say. Oh, used in. Okay, that's actually how we get petroleum. Yeah, aromatics doesn't do all that much. At some point, I'll probably do one of these two to make diesel. But I don't need diesel for anything yet. So that's not really worth anything. It's what we burn, I think, in the 2nd tier of oil power plant. Or the 3rd tier, maybe. Yeah, the 3rd tier uses diesel. But yeah, so having extra aromatics is kind of pointless. And the fuel value is low enough that I just don't think it's worth using. What I could do... There's a part of me that's tempted. I could set up a big steam production plant for hot steam. Because we've got a lot of burnables that we're voiding here. Well, I guess it's just benzene, heavy oil, and aromatics. So no, I don't know. No, I'll just leave it. I'll leave it, and then the question is, do I want to do more antimony oxide right now? So the original antimony comes in and goes to from 10 to 8, and then... Yeah, this is one of those where shipping the original ore is actually just as dense as anything else, I think. So I'd have to put antimony on trains. I could try to make this build bigger, but I don't know if we could double it. If I moved away the electrolyzers to over here, do you think we could double this inside of this block? I mean, that could fit there, that could sort of fit there, these could sort of fit here. Yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can double our Antimox. And now that we have a stacked belt, that makes that easier too. So... And one of these makes 1.4, so I'll need a few more antimony drills. So let me put those in the auto mall here for my own personal wish list. Delete all the, oh, I can just do that. Antimony drill. Let's do another 10 just to fill out the section. Get rid of those. And I assume we have everything we need for those. Okay, so for antimony oxide rebuild, well, here's the question, folks. Should I build tier 2 as well? Tier 2 is awful. because of this Dow froth and what was the other thing? The lead acetate. Because it needs hydrogen peroxide. And hydrogen peroxide, there is only pain for hydrogen peroxide right now. So I think what I do is I move this onto trains and I set up, I think I set up a situation where the original is doubled, but we leave space. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but we leave space for this to be twice as much. Why is this not upside down? Normally it flips it upside. What's going on here? Oh, I think I need to start with removing these three. Or put them on the bottom or something. Oh, I'm just a dingus. I did the wrong thing. These look way too similar. The antimony ore should look a little different, in my humble opinion. Because it's way too similar to the grade 4. Anyway, divide by 3.255 times 10. And then divide by 9.998 times 10. Ah, I love fixing those rounding errors. And now we've got this. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Divide by 49.999 times 50. Fix that oxygen rounding error. Perfect. So that'll get us one Antimox out. And then later we will need to turn this grade 4 into crushed antimony. 20 ball mills? Are you serious? Dust. Antimony concentrate. And then antimony pulp 2. So this would be the eventual build, and we get 3.5 out instead of whatever this was, which was 1. Yeah. So I'll leave that there for later. For now, I'm not gonna deal with it. Gosh, that's a lot of fuel. Should I use Coke? Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Do I just want to make this on site? Probably not. We need a super trasher. Yeah, let's just pin this and try to make it in the same spot. I think we're far enough away from needing antimony 2 and being able to make it that I think for right now we're just trying to improve our base's capabilities. So what we'll add into this request is basic oxygen furnace 5 more of those. We'll add in let's see, we need screeners. I mean, I need a total of 30. So I'm just gonna put 16. I don't know how many I already have. I think I have 4 crushers. So we'll do 3. 3 more. No, I need 4 more as well. We still only need 1 secondary crusher for that. And that should be all we need. It's just screeners into oxygen furnaces, basically. And then electrolyzers. 5? I'll throw 5 more down. Because do we have this, is this oxygen going to trains eventually? No, it seems like this oxygen is only here for metals. Okay. So where's my oxygen coming from on trains, by the way? That's a whole question. What? Oh, because it's not called... The recipe that I'm making with the electrolyzers even isn't called oxygen. So these don't even see it. Is it hydrogen? No. I wonder what search would find these buildings. Do I have to type water electrolysis? I do. Interesting. Okay, so it turns out most of my oxygen making in the entire base is up here. So what that means is I think I want to add more and then provide the oxygen. Because I think my base is going to run out of oxygen. Let me work my way up there, actually. Or no, we need to go to the auto mall first. Well, the auto mall's busy. It might take a minute to be less busy. So yeah, I want to wait until the last second to tear down the antimony oxide because it's gonna... We desperately need the production, so I want it stopped for as short as possible. And yeah, the ash that we get out is going to be pretty significant. But yeah, let me try to think. How can we shrink some stuff down here? Where is this going? Okay, we need that for these buffs. What are all the possible burnable fuels? Is there a fuel that we should have switched to by now? Like, I think there is a briquette option, but I don't remember where that is or if that's even feasible for me. They also changed the charcoal briquette and coal briquette. Those are different than they used to be, so I don't remember what's what anymore. Those are 180 megajoules, so those are nuts, but you can't make those until Kimsai. And I think coal briquette is the same thing. Those are 60 megajoules, also unlocked in Kimsai. So until then, literally the best thing I could do would be to bring in coke or to use... You know, the easiest way to do this to see all the fuel values at the same time is actually Hellmod. If you go into like a stone furnace, now we can see all the fuel values next to the icon. So coarse coal would actually be the way to go, funnily enough. But that's, you know, you end up getting crushed coal. It's much better to just turn it all into regular coal or coke, I think. So yeah, coke, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, we get a little bit less ash, but we have to ship in the coke. And then we're wasting a processed item instead of literally something we just mine out of the ground. Raw coal is as close as it gets to free. I mean, you know, one of these mines 5.6 a second. It's kind of absurd. So, yeah. Don't really think we need to do anything else there. And now that it's stacked, we get an absurd amount of fuel on the belt. You know, previously the stacking issue might have made me want to do something else. So I think what I'll do first is I'll move the electrolyzers. That much I can do without much muss or fuss. these moved. I know this is a crime to delete oxygen, so actually, why don't we keep that hooked up for a minute? Is that a T junction? No, it's just an I junction. Okay, so we'll keep that running things for a minute while I make the rest of these. And then we're gonna make a second row here. And then we're gonna do that. Vertical flip. Do one of these, do one of those, and then water goes this way, up, and over. And I know this is so random, but I just like to be guaranteed that things work sometimes. And this is one of those things where I'm not really sure how this water's being supplied. So if this ever goes below 5,000, I'm gonna say we have a problem. Okay. And then put those up, but again, we need to do it the right way. All right, and then oxygen can just connect through there. Hydrogen can connect through here. Power pole's in the middle. Okay. So then we want this. This whole thing. Boom, boom, boom. I'll even build one more. Okay. That should do it for oxygen. And the oxygen is connected through to there. Let's... I'm just gonna delete it. 20,000 oxygen's not that much. Alright. Okay, and then we have a lot of hydrogen that's not getting used. What did I do here? There we go. Hydrogen. I also screwed up the oxygen. Okay, there we go. Nope, I screwed it up on all of them. Cool. That's true. Oh my gosh, on both of these. Well, okay. There we go. Boom. Boom. Okay. Better. Now, hydrogen I also could provide, so let's do... train, what's it called? F provider extension. Oxygen. Hydrogen. Nope. You guys do not get to work on this. We'll have the base bots do it. And then plop one of these outside the area. It's been towed outside the environment. And the oxygen is this one. So all we need then is some sort of oxygen overflow here. And yeah, I mean, I can have this buffer a bit, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then the hydrogen. Okay, so overflow. Now let's see. I assume I'm gonna remove these and just figure out how to make it overflow, void oxygen in if we need hydrogen and don't have it. I doubt that's ever gonna happen, but just in case, we can connect that up. Because then, that way these don't need to be separated situations. Why did my... Oh, I turned off my bots. Alright. That water is needed, but it's doing a weird little run around here. Okay, so the water instead could just go to the left and then down, over, down. Okay. So water's still hooked up for boric acid. Oxygen's not even a thing over there. And then hydrogen comes this way. Dodge this coal belt. Okay, so here's hydrogen. Which needs to come up and over. Like that. Okay, so now hydrogen's hooked up to there, which is the amount we need for... Or, it's what we need for boric acid. And then what we'll do is we'll say... I don't know, we'll figure this out. So step one is to overflow the oxygen here past 80% into the wrong... Yeah, this is oxygen. Okay, so that's oxygen, overflow 80% into there. Then we need hydrogen, overflow into here. Okay. But then we have problems where if hydrogen backs up, we need to vent hydrogen. So then, I think we can just do a pretty simple 80-90 situation here. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but this is saying that if we get to 80% in the system, it'll start filling that up. But then if that's backing up, then it gets to 90% and then it'll just vent it. So I think that's actually all we need here. And then this can be the same 80-90 system. So if we get to 80, we do that. If we get to 90, we vent it. Now, this one, wait, not quite. Because then it'll vent both, and that's not what we want. We want it to back up when oxygen's full. So the buck needs to stop somewhere, because you definitely don't want electrolyzers running utterly full time without any stoppage. So what we'll do is we will measure our hydrogen. And so we'll only ever vent oxygen if hydrogen is below 5, we'll say 2,000. So if hydrogen's emptying out, then we'll get rid of oxygen. Or, no, I guess we want it to be past Hold on, let's call it 8100. Because then that guarantees that we'll fill this up as well. Because if we're at 8100... Yeah. And remember, it's still only gonna... This pump will only ever run if we're already overflowing on oxygen anyway. So, it's only gonna happen once in a blue moon in the first place. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. My base is less happy with that. This is how many megawatts? I don't even know. I'm actually going to add in a few more, I think, because this is such a simple build and I want it to last for a while. So let's... add in 4 more. Six more? Why not? We'll call it happy there. Okay. I'm happy with that. And oxygen's filling up pretty quick, and then it'll go to the trains. Water seems to be fine. I don't remember exactly what we were doing, but... Anyway, time to rebuild antimony. Also, I'll probably... Oh, we're already stacking the ash? Interesting. I may come up with a different design for ash stacking, rather than using one stack inserter per furnace. But yeah, let's head over to the auto mall to grab the resources here. Oh, you know something I'm not doing is bringing in the lead that we're now making from soot. Alright. So I assume it's done. Ugh, the auto mall is a beautiful thing. Get rid of extras. Turn it off. Grab everything out. Delete. And everything's happy. Beautiful. I don't really need those electrolyzers, so I'm gonna jam those back in a random chest. Over here. In fact, there's a lot of things I don't need here. You have so many buildings, and I don't really need random buildings anymore. I will take the automated factories. I might need those. And some random pie tanks. Oh, I needed the jaw crushers and screeners, but that's all I need. And the basic oxygen furnaces. Did I get rid of those? No, they're still there. Okay. And I have some random trash, too. Personal logistics, let's see. I guess we should start making a list of things that we want. I'm gonna need more bots before I can put belts on here, but stuff like power pole or electric pole. 150. Burner, we want to have 10. Exhaust vent, we want to have 10. Why does hitting enter not work here, by the way? Does anybody know? I'm hitting enter right now and it's doing nothing. Oh, you have to hit E. That's odd. Enter should work as well, in my opinion. And then sinkhole. And then we want valve one way. They stack to 20, so I want the full 20. Top up valves, 20. The AFH stuff, probably. Oop, wrong thing. Okay, and then I wanted, let's see, these to be 100. And these to be... I don't think I need those to be 100. I rarely do long distance pipelines anymore. And with niobium pipes, 50 of these is triple the length of the old ones. So I don't think we need 150. Okay, and then the other maybe most important thing would be inserters, 150. Fast inserters, 50. Big poles, 50. Pumps, I really don't need 50 of them, but having some, I'll put 20. Pipes, 200 in case of crafting. Chests, 100. I'll do 90 because of inventory stacked stuff. Combinators, 20. See, the E versus enter thing is really annoying that you can't, because you train yourself to use enter so that you don't accidentally type E into this, but then E doesn't work if you're not typing into that. See, I think that's actually a bad UI UX decision. I think enter should work in both cases. Okay, what else do we need? Burner assemblers? I mean, technically. Alright, I'm gonna turn that on, and I'm just gonna stand here for a while and let the bots do their thing. It's gonna probably be a while. In fact, I don't even know, does the main base have enough logistic spots? Main base only has 63. So why don't I increase that by 50? Now the main base has 138. Oh, I had some kept back for, I wonder how much Phoenix I just spent, by the way. None? Do these not cost Phoenix? No, intermetallics. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. I should not have said that. Gosh. Well, at least batteries are actually building up. So we'll get there eventually. Train buffers are expensive. This is the name of the game. There's part of me that's like, while I'm at it, why don't I build some tidal power plants? But my power's actually been okay. I think a few things backed up that were costing a lot of power, and now they've settled down a bit. The issue is still... Oh, now it's moved back to rubber being the issue. Did I... Well, the good news is this is still the zoomed out goal that we have right now. Remember this whole rubber, the grand plan, TM? The grand plan involved me needing that bitumen build, which is now done. So now we just need acetone from chromite sand. We need to make a bunch of sulfuric from sulfur and ref syngas, and we need to make ref syngas from methanol and syngas. And we might need to make more methanol somewhere, but we do already have some methanol production. And then we'll have orgsolv in the amounts we need. Now, all of these I'm going to build bigger than shown, because we might need those things in other places. And then, what did we do for carbon black again? We just wanted to do tar processing for carbon black, I guess. It's the easiest way. Probably burn the coke that we make for the steam. And we end up with some free creosote. Ugh. It feels so weird to decouple a big tar processing build from making carbon black. I just don't think there's another way right now. Is there, to make carbon black? No. When do I get this one? I actually like this. Hold on. When do I get that? Can I type carbon black? No, unfortunately. What was that made in? Because that might tell me. It's made in a biofactory? So what turd is gonna allow me... Is it just the biofactory turd? Is that a thing? Biofactory upgrade. Yeah, this is it. Oh gosh, I'm not educated enough to make this decision. I definitely don't want this one. I am educated enough to know I don't care about this. I mean, what it does is it basically... The maggot part is kind of irrelevant, because it gives you back extra maggots that you can burn or throw at arcads or whatever. I think the main part of this is that it allows you to convert high distillates to way more naphtha than you could before. But I already have so many condensates for naphtha that just doesn't feel necessary. But it's possible that like late game that could be really useful. Maybe you need absurd amounts of naphtha. But this one, being able to make carbon black from mostly free stuff from just phytoplankton. No, look, the phytoplanktons, it produces phytoplankton. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is a good recipe. Dang. Okay, I'm a fan of that one. And it even makes outlet gas stage 4, which if I'm remembering correctly, is kind of pricey to get to. And that's the one that gets you the hottest bricks. And you can just turn it into huge amounts of flue gas, though that costs you light oil. Anyway, where was I? I lost my place. Control E. Back. Oh, and then gets you free Carrigen too. So literally it just turns jerky and a tiny bit of saline water into absurd amounts of carbon black. That is a great turd. And the biofactory turd is at pi 3. Okay, well, that's why it's a great turd. It's a million years down the road. So anyway, the only way to make carbon black for now is anthracene or this crazy recipe. I guess I could ask myself, is this easier? Didn't I look at this though? Because you get 1.5 carbon black for your troubles. And I could just burn everything else. I'd keep the Zogna bacteria, of course, but everything else could be burned. Hold on, let's entertain... Did I entertain that idea? I don't know if I did. I don't know if I did entertain this idea of carbon black from biocrud reprocessing. And what is rich biocrud? I don't know, we can't make it yet. So realistically, that's only 2.6 phytoplankton farms. Biomass and biocrud cost, I'm not really worried about. So how much is 13 phytoplankton? It's only 4. You know what? I may do this, and it gets us free Zogna bacteria. Biocrud 4, biomass 10. Seems a little high, but... Seed extract is interesting. I don't know what that decays into. Agar spoils back into biocrud, and so does cellulose, so we can just use those in the input. I could even use the flora. It'll be a 6-hour timer. Sorry, I had to sneeze. It'll be a 6-hour timer, but I could recycle that back into biomass. Or I can just compost it directly, now that I think about it, right? Yeah, you can just compost that back into 2 biomass each, so that's better. I wish composters Well, we'll see. I don't think all of them compost one at a time. If they all compost one at a time, we can just compost everything. Anyway, what I wanted to do is look at our biomass production. On average... well over 10 a second. And I assume a lot of biomass is backed up and being burned. And then what about biocrud? Oh, weird. It doesn't show up as production. Huh. It's not even 1 a second. So 4 biocrud a second is actually more than I think I realized. Is there a way I can intentionally make biocrud? Like, what's the best spoiled result? Later on, we get a weird fluorospolinin to biocrud situation. Decay from cellulose, lignin, lard, agar, seed extract, fish eggs. Huh. So it actually is kind of pricey. I thought we had way more biocrud showing up in the base. I guess we don't. Yo, why is this inserter not working? Yo, what is going on? Oh. Let's see. How do you fix that? An interesting problem, and I don't know exactly how to fix it, because obviously we just add more stack inserters with different filters, but we don't have the space for that. I guess I could make the space for that. I could make this a long chest. That's one option, but yeah, this is gonna keep happening. There's some sort of method that people have. I think the method is pretty simple, actually. Where's my... hold on. Where is the timer? Need to put that in here. Okay. So the timer... I think can fix this. So we've got that. And every 10 seconds... wait, what is this? Oh, it outputs 1 plus the input count. That's what that's doing. Yeah. Okay. And then as soon as it's 600, this is all false, so it outputs nothing. And then on the next tick, it's less than 600, so it starts back again. Perfect. So then we need to hook these up. And then we need to set stack size. I guess we can just do... let me just try this. This isn't perfect, but what this will do is every 10 seconds, it'll mess it up for 13 ticks, you know, because it spends 13 ticks having the stack size too low. But let's just make it even every 20 seconds, or 30 seconds? Every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, it'll do a clear to reduce the stack size down to 1. It'll drop whatever it's holding, and that should fix it. Okay, that is an important note whenever you have stack inserters that output more than one type of thing. I need to remember that. Okay, I think the bots have met all my needs, so turn off the personal logistics, and this episode is almost over. It's okay. Like we said at the very beginning with the Zen Garden experience, we're not tying episodes to progress necessarily. We didn't get a million things done in this episode, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I know a lot of you guys are too. You guys have been really positive. There have been so many positive comments, and I'm really appreciative of all that. You guys have been really my cheerleaders in this playthrough with, you know, just like a lot of people supporting on Patreon are like, hey, like really love the videos, like thanks so much for making them. And yeah, those comments really are like helpful to me and help me, you know, be encouraged to keep going. And you know, in terms of longevity, like the two main factors in me beating pyanodons is A, keeping interest, and B, being able to keep investing the time into it financially. And so like Patreon support really helps with the second one of those. You know, obviously Patreon support doesn't directly make me more, it doesn't make me have more fun, but it certainly like helps with the dedication part, because there's something about, you know, like having a purpose. It's like, oh, like this is part of like what people are kind of supporting me to do, and that makes me feel more purposeful in pyanodons as well, which is not a bad thing. You know, if I felt like, oh no, I have to play more Pi because people are demanding it, like that would be bad, but that's not how I feel, so things are good here. Okay, I am going to cut the supply, and we're gonna let it run dry, and that way my inventory will get jammed up with less crap if I let this run for a couple minutes. And then we're gonna take up all the space we can. So I know I'm kind of cheating here by going above the boundary and below the boundary, but I think it's okay. Or X can spare the room, and we already remade copper, and that can spare the room, so I think that's fine. We'll let that run for a couple minutes, and then we'll deconstruct things as we can. I guess I'll just pick this up, and then we'll spread the love here. And then we're gonna need 8 of those. So I'm thinking, yeah, this should work. Roughly the same build. I think I'll do 8 along the top. We're already direct inserting the crushed antimony, so I think I'll just double this. I'll move it slightly to the left, double it, and then this can move over to the right. And this might just need 3 rows with how many there are, I'm not sure. And then the bottom, obviously we have all this extra space. And let me actually do a thing here. So oxygen, we're gonna go over to the side, and then we're gonna go down. And then we'll do a T-junction there. Now I know I broke my oxygen connection going to these guys. Yeah, something's off here. So let's get oxygen for copper, and iron I think is also on this same network. Okay, let me just make sure that... No. Did something wrong. Oh, okay. Hold on. This one is not connected through. Okay, so we need a T-junction going down. There we go. Let me just make sure that's now all hooked up. Okay, all that oxygen, those buffs, that's all hooked up to the actual tanks. Perfect. Okay. Then... seems like we depowered things somehow. Is it from that? Might have been from that. Okay, so... pick all this up. Wait. Not quite. What I want is to copy and cut this. Although the rates might not work out to be on a belt. I'll have to look into that. We'll do that in a minute, but for now, let's just get rid of the old style power poles. Let's get rid of this nonsense. I'll probably just make a new version of this. My bots should be able to handle that. Because I have 50, so as long as I'm deconstructing less than 50 bots worth of items, I can just order the... Okay, so we're gonna move this all the way up to here. I'll leave like... oh yeah, I'll be in line with the official wall here of where I'm supposed to build things. Okay, and that goes there. Okay, and then I'm gonna copy that once I finish the rates. So the rates are 2 in. And then it's 1.6. Well, okay, specifically of the grade 1, it's 1 out. Which means I need a powered inserter, right? Yeah, why on earth do I have... what? That's not feeding it fast enough. What am I doing here? Now, 2 mechanical inserters will. And then the other 2 is 0.6 plus 0.4 plus 0.06, so the 2 mechanical inserters sideways is actually too many. Right? Because to the side, at maximum rate, we've only got 1 item a second. 1.06 items a second, so I don't need 2 mechanical insert. I think I screwed that up. Because it's the grade 1 that gets direct inserted into the jaw crusher. So I actually need it to look like this per building. Okay. Hold on. Let's clear this out and just make sure that's what we've got. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that's that part. Wonder if I should have built it like that. Or that even. Huh. Kinda like that better. Yep. Yep. Okay, so... and I'll call this an episode once I get this part set up. How have I cut power to the whole freaking base? Oh, I just don't have the poles along the left side here? What's going on? Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait, I don't actually want this to feed in yet, though. Alright, so then the plastic we'll have to remove. Fill up my inventory. The raw coal, definitely gonna fill up my inventory. Let's have it fill up that chest instead. Alright, so then I want to cut those 4, flip them around, and have them here. And then, wait, shoot. Flip them around, and then horizontally flip. So I need to delete the middle part now. Okay, so flip it upside down, and then H. Build that. Okay, so now that should be... It's up to 8 out. Oh, shoot. What was my rate? From the jaw crushed, it's 14.1. Perfect. So it's just basically a whole belt. I think we are overall trying to use less inserters, so let's do just your classic 2 inserters. In the very long run, it'll save me UPS, and I think the cost of yellow inserters is basically 0 at this point in the game. Oh, but there's some stone out too. Wait. Do those add to still? Still less than 15. Okay. Just barely. And the other stuff also adds to less than 15. But it does add to more than 7.5. For both of them combined, but not for a single one. So that means for each single... for each single one of these, they can all be on one lane. That's fine. And then we'll split this and have it come down to here. Get those buildings fed like that. And then the output of stuff. I'm just gonna remove all this real quick. Okay. And then that will output lots of stone, a little bit of iron oxide, a decent amount of iron oxide actually. I should probably not delete that. Okay. Iron oxide, final trash. I think we'll set up iron oxide for our trash system. So that because I'm getting close to the stage where we need iron oxide, actually. So I don't want to just ignore that anymore. Alright, so this'll... I don't know exactly what we'll do, because we do have more than one belt full of grade 2 antimony. But we'll figure that out in the next episode. For now, we will call it here. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.